Kia ora koutou katoa. Greetings to you all. I bring this presentation in the form of a spoken introduction and a dance talk. This means that while I am reading this introduction, the bulk of the presentation will combine movement and speaking, rather than just speaking. This video represents one aspect of how I want to deliver this paper face to face. Detail of the participants, methodology, methods, definitions of key terms, and findings can be found in the abstract and written paper. In this presentation, I focus on facilitated reflective practice as a useful means of learning and development for an art maker. Rather than simply talking about facilitated reflective practice in art making, I choose to use this video as a tool for my own facilitated reflective practice. Thus, this video becomes not only a presentation to you, but a representation of my embodied knowing, my embodied reflection. The video provides several tools for facilitated reflective practice in art making for me, such as my own reviewing of the video, any comments you choose to send me, or if you choose to enter into conversation with me, this conversation becomes yet another tool and you become the facilitator. This presentation is being videoed in the dance studio, my favourite room at the University of Waikato. The video operator is a friend, Coral. Neither of us make any claim to be filmmakers. In this picture are 10 women, all art makers of varying ethnicities and art-making areas in the Waikato region of Aotearoa, New Zealand. I'm the dancer. I'm the pink blur in the bottom of that picture. So I'm one of the 10 participants. We all undertook several months of our own art making, and then I met with each woman 3 times to help her to reflect on her experiences. These conversations became a form of facilitated reflective practice with me as the facilitator. The conversations also were an opportunity for the emergence of our collaborative knowing. Now, the huge challenge was to find a way to represent the experiences of these amazing women in academic writing. I'm a feminist, and as a feminist, I want women to be more visible in research. As a dancer, I want artists to be heard, even if they communicate best through their art, rather than through words. So, finding out about different ways of viewing the world and different ways of knowing, I came up with an approach which I called a feminist participatory worldview, which is feminist and participatory, interwoven with Indigenous, in this case, kaupapa Māori worldviews. So this interweaving of feminist, participatory, and kaupapa Māori worldviews meant that I was able to explore the breadth and the richness of the gendered, creative, cultural, spiritual, and embodied experiences of these art makers. It also meant that these women were free to communicate with me verbally, non-verbally, or through their art in ways that were comfortable culturally. So we have facilitated reflective practice. conversations leading to collaborative knowing. Verbal, non-verbal, art making. Gendered, creative, cultural, spiritual, and embodied. These can all be verbalized to some extent, but a lot of what they're about is non-verbal. So in order to involve all of these, I need to embrace a wider view and a wider understanding of what it means to know. Now, in white, dominant New Zealand society, we judge that we know something when we can put it into symbols, words, or numbers. But in the feminist, participatory, and Indigenous peoples' worldviews, I found 17 different ways of knowing. Some of these are easy to put into words, but many are not. So, gendered, creative, cultural, spiritual, and embodied knowing. Yes, these can all be verbalized to some extent, but much of what they're about, as I said, is non-verbal. So as a dancer, I'm really interested in embodied knowing. Now, embodied knowing means knowing with your body, which can mean knowing how to do something. Computer, car, musical instrument, sport. But embodied knowing can also mean sensing through your body things that are not easy to put into words. Like that creepy feeling you can get around some places or people. So when we make music, or an artwork, or a dance, there's a lot happening that we can sense, but we can't always put it into words. Kia ora.